en español. Gracias. Thank you, Ms. Duran.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, well, let's get it started. As mentioned before, this is the MVLA Student Voices panel. For the first 30 minutes, we're going to be speaking with current MVLA seniors a bit about their experience going through the college process, and there should be time for Q&A at the end, so feel free to type in the Q&A if there's something that you want to ask, and we've also given the panelists a few minutes to just share anything else that they really want people to know sort of at the end. Okay, so with that, let's get started. Panelists, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and helping your high school community. Let's start by going around. If you could just introduce yourself with your name, the high school you attend, and what you think you want to study in college, and bonus, one of your favorite classes in high school. And I will prompt you on who will start. Okay, let's kick it off with Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice, and I go to Mountain View High School. Right now I'm thinking about majoring in like pre-veterinary, and my favorite class right now is anatomy.
Great, thank you. And then we'll jump over to Rohan.
Hi, my name is Rohan Panchal, and I'm a senior at Los Altos High. My favorite class is probably AP Biology. And sorry, what was the last thing?
What you think you might want to study in college?
Probably poli-sci or engineering.
Nice. All right, Ryuto.
Hi, I'm Ryuto. I am a senior at Mountain View High School. My favorite class I've taken at Mountain View is probably going to be AP World History. And then in college, I'm thinking of studying either data science or something environmental science related.
Very cool. All right, Adeline.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adeline Farias. I go to Mountain View High School. My favorite class that I've taken at Mountain View has probably been AP US History, and I plan on majoring in business administration with a concentration in marketing.
Nice, very specific. All right, and Zoe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zoe. I go to MVHS. I am thinking of majoring in biochemistry and neuroscience, and one of my favorite classes was AP Biology.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, everyone, let's kick it off. You are all second semester seniors. What do you wish you would have known or believed about the college process 1 year ago when you were in 11th grade? Okay, let's start with Ryuto.
I think one of the things I wish I known or believed was probably up until the application process, everything you've done so far is all the hard work you've done. That's most of it. And the application is just putting all that together on a piece of paper, or I guess, writing an essay. So you've already done most of the work. So this is just the final part of it. And you've already worked really hard. So not to worry about, I guess, the application itself. And then another thing is that I feel like the application, or I mean the admission rate or the acceptance rate is deceiving. So don't be surprised if there's a college that it has a really high acceptance rate and you don't get into, because there is still a chance you don't get into it. So just be aware of that.
Thank you. Zoe, let's go to you.
I think if there's one thing I wish I'd known is that it takes a lot of time to not only write your essays and stuff like that, but look into what schools you're actually going to apply to. So I know for me, going into the school year, I didn't have a completed list, and so before I could even start writing my essays, I had to actually finish my list, and I had to research the schools that were right for me. So I think that's really important to get done before anything.
Great, thank you. Alice.
I'd say it's really important to it's okay to not know exactly what colleges you're looking for and what you're kind of looking for in a college. That's kind of what the whole research process is, and you don't have to worry about so much about like safeties and like your target and reach, because like it'll all fall into place eventually.
Great. And Adelene.
Yeah, so there's a lot I wish I would have known, but I think one thing that's super comforting is knowing that there's a lot of resources, especially at Mountain View High School, I'm sure at Los Altos too. You just have to take the initiative into going into like the workshops, the webinars, and I'm an avid, so they helped me a lot throughout the whole college process. It wasn't just in a span of a few months, it was probably like all my junior year, especially senior year. So there's a lot of resources, but you just have to take the initiative yourself to take the opportunity of going to them. So you're definitely not going to be alone. And I think another really comforting thought is that a lot of the seniors are going through the same process as you. So don't be scared to ask for help.
That's great. Thank you. All right, next question. The UCs require 4 short essays called personal insight questions. Common App is the large application with over 900 schools that use it. They have a longer personal statement, and sometimes colleges have supplemental essay questions. The CSUs and other schools do not require an essay at all. So the question is, did you apply to colleges that required essays? What insights do you want to share with younger students? What was your timeline? Any advice, resources, suggestions on things to do or things to avoid? So why don't we kick it off? Adelena, you want to start this one?
Yeah, sure. So for the UCs, I've noticed throughout the years that they use pretty similar prompts. So one thing that I did is I worked a lot on it during the summer because I was able to research just kind of the general prompts that they use and kind of jot down ideas of what I could potentially talk about. So I would definitely suggest searching up like previous prompts because majority of the time they reuse them. And that goes also to a lot of like the supplementals for private schools. They also I know a really popular one is like why that school prompt. So just doing research on that and just coming up with notes will really, really help you with that.
Thank you. And I made a mistake. Rohan, I did not mean to skip you on that last question. So we're just going to back it up really quickly. Could you tell us something that you wish you would have known or believed like last year? And then you can answer the second question if you want.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. I think one thing that I wish I knew is that the college process is actually a little bit easier than it seems. It's not as intimidating. The key factor is that you must stay ahead of the game. One piece of advice that I give to a lot of people is apply early action as much as you can to as many schools that allow it, because you will stand out, and apply to a variety of schools and a lot of schools because you're able to recycle essays, and I think you have more opportunity for the future. In terms of essays for the second question, most of my schools required essays, and my main piece of advice is that your Common App personal statement must be spectacular. I think that when colleges first look at your portfolio, they primarily see this essay. And so if it's really good, they will get a sense of your personality. And for the UCs, try to brag about yourself, but keep it very concise and don't be too wordy. Don't blabber on too much. And stay ahead of the game.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, Alice.
So I did apply to like a lot of colleges that required essays. And one piece of advice I would give is to just like make sure you're always like outlining and like make like just jot down like any ideas you have for all of your essays. And I found that like making my outlines like off like beforehand, like over the summer, it really helped me like stay focused during senior year. And I was able to write all of my essays quicker. And then for like the UCs, I would say just like what Rohan was saying, like make sure that they're concise and like try not to like write it like a story as much and just like say points about yourself.
Great, thank you. Zoe.
So I applied to a lot of schools that required essays, and something that I tried to do was like fit my stories to the prompt, not try to find one of my stories that like a prompt that, yeah. So like think about stories that are important to my character and my persona and talk about those because those have the most impact and I can write the most about those. So like once I got the prompt, I would like jot down some notes on what I could write about. And then I would get together with friends and actually start the writing process with them. And that way I could stay on track and I could think about stuff with them because we're all in the same boat and we're all trying to write the same thing, especially since I didn't really work with like an external college counselor. My friends are really helpful in that.
Thank you. And Ryuto.
I did apply to a lot of like schools beyond UCs and CSUs that required essays. And one thing about at least the Common App personal statement or the personal essay, for me, at least it took around 4 to 6 weeks from starting with the original ideas and brainstorming and all the way to like actually finishing it and to the point where I'm like feel like ready to submit it. One thing is that I kind of slipped up on is, or I kind of didn't really pay attention to or realized is how long essays actually take to write. And it isn't just about, oh, I can write an essay out in 1 or 2 hours. It's like you have to be in the right headspace to be able to think of good ideas. And if you don't allow yourself to have that time, you're not going to be able to write an essay with good content in it. So I think using summer as a time to at least start brainstorming or have some sort of outline or maybe general idea, because it is possible the prompts could change, but I know at least for UCs and the personal or the Common App personal statement, they don't change. And then if you're applying it anywhere beyond UCs and CSUs, each supplement is going to take a lot of time because with UCs, you can apply to like eight schools with 4 short essays versus from beyond the Common App personal statement, if they require a supplement, you have to write an individual essay just to apply to one more school. And then also once in your supplements, when they ask like a why us or like why do you want to go to our school, like make sure you actually do a good amount of research on that school and you show that you are a good fit with that school because that's how you make yourself stand out. And a good resource that I found was that Miss Lowe at the College and Career Center at Mountain View High School suggested was the college essay guy. So they have examples of essays and they also help you. There's also some activities you can do to help brainstorm like a personal statement.
Again, I mean, I'm so impressed with all of your answers. So great job, panelists. Let's go on to question number 3. So we kind of already heard some folks talk about college search. Could you walk us through what your college search looked like? How did you end up connecting with various schools? And then any tips or recommendations that you'd like to share? So for this one, let's kick it off with Zoe.
So I knew like basically which UCs and CSUs I wanted to apply to like from the get-go, just from like word of mouth or thinking these schools are going to be a good fit for me, or I'm just going to start with these schools. And then apart from those, I basically had no idea where I was going to apply to. And so I took advantage of the college search tool on Naviance, where I could like input things that I wanted in a school, like the size, the location, the acceptance rate, stuff like that, because I think I didn't have at that point, I didn't have enough safety schools. I ended up shifting away from that mentality at some point, but for my initial college list, I took advantage of that. And then also I met with the in-school college counselor. So for me, that was Miss Lowe at Mountain View High School. And she ended up giving me a list of like around 5 schools that fit my criteria. And then there's also like a lot of books that you can read and like check out from the library that have a lot of really good insight.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, let's go to Ryuto.
I kind of didn't really consider, at least beyond UCs and CSUs, didn't really decide what schools I want to apply to up until maybe like 1 month before the actual deadline. So if I were to do like this whole process again, I'd probably start maybe in the summer to like start looking into schools beyond the ones that I just know in my head. So I pretty much looked up schools that were had good programs for the major I was interested in. And then from there, I would look into these schools and see if those programs would be like a good fit for me. So whether maybe the school atmosphere or that specific program offered resources that I would benefit from. And then from there, I kind of narrowed down my list. So I know niche.com is also a pretty good resource for finding out like pros and cons about the school. So they give like a little report card and it has all sorts of things. So like some schools I applied to is because like the food was better or something like that. But then I also found other programs also good. So you can kind of find like all the good and bad about schools. And there's also like student reviews on there as well. And another thing that I would like probably advise to people to like juniors would be to when you pick your safety schools, make sure you actually do want to go there in case you don't get to any of your target reaches. There are probably a few schools that I applied to that I got into now that I'm like, why did I even apply here? Because they don't even have my major. I just chose a random major to apply just because of the safety school. And I also think that you shouldn't be pressured to apply to schools just because your friends are, or you hear a lot of people apply to them. Because oftentimes I hear some schools and then that are probably that my friends are applying to, but then for my major or for the programs I'm interested in, it just didn't make sense to apply to those schools. So don't get swept away in what everyone else is doing or what you hear from other people, and try to make sure you find a school when you apply that's actually a good fit for you and you'd actually want to go there.
Great. Okay, Rohan.
So in terms of approaching the college search process, I think the main piece of advice I have is connecting with schools means reading. So you need to read every school's website that you are applying to. And so you can connect yourself with their values, which they share publicly, and write those values in the why essays. So a lot of the supplementals have why us essays. Why do you want to go here? Write the values that you have and the school has that you relate with. And I think that picking the school that's right for you is matching your interests. So for me personally, it was finding the right major for me, research opportunities. I love sports, a big sports team, social life, good food like UCLA. So I think finding your interests at the university is really important.
Thank you. Adeline.
Yeah, so I would say I feel like for juniors, you should definitely start off by asking yourself what you look for in a college that goes beyond just like the image of the college and the name, because I feel like a lot of people get stuck on how prestigious the school name is. But I think you should really ask yourself what type of class size you really like, if you can get into classes easily, because I know a lot of colleges, they're super impacted, especially with your major. So definitely know what you want to major in or have alternatives, and then kind of use that to go into the research part of it. So once you find a school that has a major, then you start going into the programs and what type of school they are, if they're small or large. I feel like for me, diversity was a really big thing as well. So little things like that, there's a lot of factors that go into your overall college list that I feel like a lot of people often forget. And like Ryuto said, don't just apply to safeties because they have a low acceptance rate. Just make sure that you might want to go there if everything else doesn't go the way you plan it to. And I would also say that it's really important to use the tools like Naviance. I use that a lot in my college search process. I'm pretty sure you can list the majors that you're interested in, and then they have like a college match. And then once they match you with the college, you're able to go onto the page and look at the admissions, the costs, the academics, and all of that information, which is really helpful. I would also ask, or not, feel free to ask previous seniors with where they ended up going, if that kind of matches where you want to go, because they already been through this process, so they can definitely give you advice on that.
Very helpful. Thank you. And Alice.
So I would say like going into it, I didn't really have like much criteria of like what I wanted in a college. So like I like just started out by like finding like the best colleges for like my major and my programs. And then I use Naviance a lot. I like that it has the like personalized thing where it shows you like where like the acceptance rate of like people from MVLA with like their GPA and SAT. That was really helpful for me. And then like when I was making my college list, I had like a Google sheet where I like wrote down all of the information of each college, like their tuition, acceptance rate, class size, and like the majors that I wanted. And I think having it like all in that list helped me like compare and contrast all of the different colleges that I was interested in and then narrow down that list when applying.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, here's our last formal question, and then there's a couple in the Q&A. So attendees, please drop more questions in there and we can get to those if we have time. So the final question is, you might know where you're attending next fall. Maybe you're still deciding, maybe you're still waiting to hear back from some schools. How are you feeling now about your college options, the academic and social preparation, and just overall the next chapter in your future? Let's have Ryoto kick it off.
I'm overall, at least with my college options, I'm feeling good. I had like a wide range of choices, but that's actually kind of making it hard to decide since they're so different that I can compare side by side. So that's kind of the current dilemma I'm facing. But in terms of, I'm glad I have those solid options that I'm happy with. In terms of like academic and social preparation, um, I feel like with the college admissions stuff happening all the way to like January, it's like start of second semester, it feels like time really like flies between that time of like the start of the school year. And then by the time you realize it's like already like we're at the end of quarter 3 and then there's only 1 quarter left. So I feel like I tell myself like maybe enjoy senior year a little more. And then kind of, so yeah, so as I transition to college, like I'm not going to experience these same things again. So I guess for juniors, I tell them like take it, I guess, more slow, especially second semester. Don't drop everything and like fail all your classes. But I think it's okay to relax a little bit and take a breather and enjoy the rest of your high school.
It's great. All right, Adeline.
Yeah, so I've already heard back from majority of my colleges, which is really exciting. Um, but as some people may know, there's been a big kind of step back with the financial aid. So I'm kind of just waiting on that to get resolved to be able to make my final decision and kind of lay out like the financial aid packages. But it does really help knowing that you've been accepted into some schools. It really gives you like time to relax. But like Ryuta said, I would say that my advice would be to definitely enjoy your last semester of senior year, but while still maintaining, your good grades. Because I think a lot of people have the misconception that you can totally lay off of your grades, but a lot of colleges, they request like a end of the year transcript. So you definitely still want to maintain a good amount of grades. But yeah, it's definitely bittersweet feeling knowing that we're almost coming to the end, but it's all part of life. So I would just advise you just to have a little fun, socialize with the people you've been going to school with, but still be keeping in mind like you still have to do some work. So yeah, you're almost there.
Love it. Okay, Alice.
So I've gotten like most of my decisions back and it's been like pretty like relaxing because like getting like that first decision back was like really like just such a relief and everything. But yeah, I would say like definitely like make sure that like you like can slow down and like kind of start to enjoy like senior year and all of the like hard work that you did first semester is all beginning to pay off. Make sure you're still working hard, but yeah, everything like passes by really fast. So just like make sure you can slow down and take it in.
Right, Rohan?
I think that I'm feeling really good and really prepared for college next year. I applied to 31 schools this year and I have gotten rejected from 2 so far. And so I have a lot of options to decide from. I'm wearing my Georgia Tech hoodie because I got in there. I'm excited. But I think that socially and academically, stay on top of your grades senior year. Like UCLA just asked for my grades last week, which means I have to keep them up. And socially, I think you get what you make of it. And I think that senior year, you need to try new things.
Thank you. And Zoe.
So I'm still waiting to hear back from some schools, but I know for me, the application process, even though I've gotten into plenty of schools, I still have to apply to external scholarships. So that's something that I'm working on right now. But it's nice to know that I have plenty of options. And like there's definitely some schools that I'm more inclined to go to than others, but it's still like I still have to decide out of the ones that I have left, which ones I'm actually considering.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to pitch some questions from the audience to the panelists. And if anyone just wants to share, you can just jump in. I won't call on you. And then if you want to add, please do. So if anyone feels comfortable, what were some examples or topics of essays that you chose to write about? You don't have to go into it too much, but just, what did you choose to write about?
Me personally, at least for my personal statement, I chose to write about like being like Japanese and Indian, and also like moving here and kind of like growing up here. So being like bouncing between different cultures. Um, but I think when I was writing the essay, I was worried that maybe I was writing about something cliche or maybe a lot of people talk about it. But I think in the end, no matter what you talk about, there's always a potential that someone else out there could have the same experience and write about them. So I think in the end, you should like in my mind, I was just like, oh, I should make as unique as possible in the sense of the delivery. So no matter what idea you have, it's always the way you talk about it is how you can be unique and stand out. So and then in terms of some like the why us essays, and when they ask like why do you want to go to a school, I think you should really do research in that school and find something about the school that's really specific to that specific school. So if they have a specific program that's unique or offers different resources that other schools don't, and you can show that you'd actually really benefit from it, really try to emphasize that. So I did some like environmental science like research and volunteering, and then this school did similar research in that field, and they have a program where you can do similar kinds of stuff. So I talk about that and kind of make that connection, saying I can continue following these interests or pursue those things. So especially for the YS essays, I think it's really important to like talk about those kind of things.
Anyone else want to share an essay topic or a supplemental topic? I'll give you a second. If not, it's okay. We can move on, but I want to give you time if you want to share.
I would like to say that like for the like why us essays, what I found was really helpful for me was like I didn't really, it was kind of hard to like for me to like navigate their like research sections on like college websites. So I like kind of like looked at all of their like study abroad programs because I found that that was really interesting for me. And I just like looked into like each specific study abroad program and found ones that sounded interesting, and then I would write about how like they connected to like my program and what I was looking for. And then for like the UC PIQs, I was just like, one of them I did modeled after my personal statement. So I just shortened my personal statement and used that because the UCs don't take your personal statement. They just take their PIQs. And then I also like talked about my leadership experience and some like other internships that I've done.
Great. Okay. I'm going to ask for a round robin of all the current seniors. If you could just take turns unmuting. Are you happy with the number of schools that you applied to? Do you wish you would have applied to fewer schools? Do you wish you would have applied to more schools? Just like real quick, like where are you at with total number of schools?
I can start. I think that I applied to the right number of schools. I applied to 31, and it might be too much. There are mixed opinions, but I think it was the right number. And yeah, you guys should reach for the stars.
Yeah, so I think I applied to 13 schools, so not too much. Looking back, I wish I applied to more just because again, like the financial part of it kind of set me back from applying to a lot more. I wish I applied to a lot more out of state schools just because you really never know how much money that school will give you as like at first the out-of-state tuition price tag might look really intimidating, but you really never know if that school's going to give you money or from FAFSA. So I really wish I did apply to more out-of-state schools. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the schools I've gotten into. So it's really just up to you and your family of like where you want to go or what state interests you. So yeah, definitely I would just again choose based on your major of what schools are pretty good. So yeah.
I'm pretty like I applied to 9 schools because I got like one of my acceptances back like very early, so I was able to like knock off a lot of safeties from my list, and that really made me like reconsider like my college list and like where I really wanted to go. So then I was able to narrow it down a lot. And I'm pretty like happy with everything so far. Like I've gotten into most of my schools, and a lot of them are like places that I would like to go. And for like the out of state, I've been getting like a lot of like good scholarships. So I would say that like don't worry too much like about like out of state if you really want to go there.
I applied to a total of 25 schools, counting all the UCs and CSUs as one campus each. So in terms of like application number, I think it was around 13 or 14. I think for me personally, it was a good amount because I kind of started late in terms of planning everything and even deciding what school. So some schools I applied to like 2 weeks before their early action deadline just because I got my SAT score back and then I realized, oh, these options are available because those schools really needed an SAT. But in terms of, I think I was at the maximum as I could do because every single out of state or private school you apply to is usually another supplement you have to write. And those do take time, but over time you can start kind of recycling your essays. But people say you can recycle your essays, but you do have to do a good amount of effort to like stretch it or shorten it depending on the word count. And then sometimes the questions don't ask the exact same thing. So I think if you're going to decide on how many colleges to apply to, you should at least consider what your like senior year like course load is going to look like, how far ahead are you going to plan, and kind of map everything out.
I think I applied to around 20 schools. And I think given the criteria that I was looking for in a school, it was a good number because like as I went through the application process, I started removing some schools based on like, do I think that I will actually fit in at that school? Is the size of the school good for me? Because I know I was looking for the type of school where I could have a relationship with like I could build a relationship with my professors because I was looking for opportunities in research. And if I was in a class with 300 other people, I knew I wouldn't be able to build that relationship as easily. So, so as I applied, I kind of started taking schools off. It was a lot of work, but I worked through it. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you all, seniors, so much. We're so proud of you. We're excited for what comes next. We hope you do enjoy this last quarter while you're still in our high schools. And with that, I will let you go on with your evening so you can drop off. Thank you again. And for the audience, we're going to transition into our alumni panel. So we have a few students who graduated recently who are back to kind of share their experiences, and we're excited to welcome you back. Thank you for giving up your time in contribution of MVLA and the wider community. So with that, let's get started. If you could each go around and just introduce yourself with your name, the college that you're currently attending. If you know what major you're studying, you could share that, or if you're still deciding what you think you might go with, and then just which high school you attended when you were a student in MVLA. And let's start with Lucy.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name's Lucy. I attended Mountain View High School, and I'm currently at UC Santa Barbara in the pre-biology program.
Great. And Sintu?
Hi everyone. My name is Sindhu. I went to Mountain View High School and I'm currently at University of San Francisco. I'm a bio major on a pre-med track.
Great. And let's go with Vina.
Hi, my name is Vina. I'm a freshman at UC Berkeley and I'm studying computer science and I went to MVHS.
Taiga.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Taiga. I'm a second year attending UC Santa Cruz, and I'm a computer science major, and I attended Mountain View High School as well.
And James.
Hi, my name is James. I went to Los Altos High School. I'm currently a freshman at Northeastern studying finance and economics with a minor in strategy.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, everyone, for making time for us tonight. You're all college students. What do you wish you would have known? Woohoo! What do you wish you would have known or believed about the college process when you were in high school? And we could start off with, let's start off with James.
So one thing, basically what I wish was kind of how my curriculum plays into the admissions process. I think that if I would have known, things about like, my course rigor or dual enrollment, I think I would have had I think I would have gotten in maybe into the schools I wanted to get to, but at the same time, because of COVID, those things, it was very hard to get meetings with, Miss Price or Mr. Duran at Los Altos. So I think those definitely are like, valuable things to know, and to start off very early with those.
Thank you. Vina.
I feel like last year I was really caught up a lot in the stress of like whether a college would accept me or not. But looking back, I feel like my essays were like they really expressed my interests and values so that the colleges that resonated with the application ended up really being the ones that were the best match for me. And that it's really more about like finding a fit rather than getting in.
Love that. Taiga.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I wish I really understood more about like how the college process went and like the major and like the classes they provided. I was a computer science major, so it's very competitive and different schools provide different type of classes in course curriculum. So I was really up and up about like the grades of my senior year and like getting into college or not. So maybe looking into more that I should have done.
Okay, Lucy.
Yeah, I kind of feel similarly with what was mentioned earlier about finding a fit. So I kind of wish that I'd spent more time researching, like, 'cause there's so many colleges. So I wish I spent more time researching ones whose programs that really could click with me, rather than perhaps like looking at just the ones in California. And another thing I wish I'd known was how helpful talking to current students at those schools could be. Like using all your connections, asking your friends if they know anyone who's at those schools, and then talking to multiple people at those schools so you can find a better sense of what life there is like and what the programs there are like.
Great. Sindhu.
I agree with everything everyone said. I also wish I knew that like your extracurriculars and your clubs and the classes you take should make a story as it like appeals more to the colleges, especially if you have like a concentrated major or something. I also wish I knew, like as people were saying, like finding a college that fits for you rather than prestige or just getting into college in general. Like actually like researching about the college, finding if it's something that you like. Honestly, those are just the important things. So yeah.
Great, thanks. And then Kai, if you don't mind introducing yourself, the college you attend, and then what you kind of wish you would have known when you were in high school about the college process.
Definitely. So my name is Kai. I go to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and I'm a computer engineering major. Something I think I would say I wish I knew about the college process is, I mean, I know it's been mentioned before, but like start early. That's definitely something that's easy to kind of forget, but that always helps. And another thing, I would say is kind of just understanding like no matter where you go, you're gonna be okay. Like I think that's something that's really easy to forget as you go through the process. But like kind of looking after it all happened, I can see that like there's things that I thought a lot about that maybe weren't as important.
Thank you. And Julia, if you don't mind introducing yourself, where you're attending, what your major is, and then what you wish you would have known.
Yeah, my name's Julia Top. I attend the University of British Columbia. And something I wish I knew before I started the process was to look at like whatever like, oh, sorry, and my major hopefully is social work. And one thing I wish I would have looked at was like the prereqs for like your major, because going into the process, I didn't really look at anything. Like the MVLA district has a really good way where they set up a curriculum where everyone is able to like take classes that fill up most of the requirements, but like specific classes, maybe when you're signing up in the class, like arts or science, maybe look into more like advanced levels if you know you want to do that.
That's really useful. Okay, great. And then the next question that we have for everyone is, what ways did attending an MVLA high school prepare you for college? Do you feel like you were prepared your first year or your second year, depending on what year you are? And if you could just speak to that preparation. And let's kick it off with James.
So I definitely think that going to Los Altos really helped me. We have amazing teachers there. They teach really well. Lots of really smart, really dedicated people. So being in that environment kind of, helped me be prepared for college. And so it's, the mindset of where, everyone around you is either super driven or anything like that. It kind of elevates you to that level. And so yeah, I think it definitely prepared me in terms of like, how to approach my schoolwork, how to do time management, all that. So, and I've been having a really good time here because, I've been really prepared through the education from Los Altos. So yeah.
Thank you. How about Lucy?
Yeah, sure. I think going to MVHS really helped me prepare like the independent study skills I needed. I've noticed that this is my first year, by the way, at college, and all I've taken so far are pretty large introductory classes. So what I find that is that during the lecture you get taught the material, and then a lot of the supplementary stuff you have to work for that yourself. So I think the self-study skills really helped me, and knowing how to look for resources and getting like tutoring help per se. Yeah, sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Just how prepared you have felt this year and like how MVLA did that. But have you been feeling prepared in your classes for your classes?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay, great. No, that's perfect. Thank you. How about Sindhu?
Honestly, MVHS prepared me really well as I am a first generation student. So I didn't come from like experience or parents like who could help me. And I was in a program called Avid. So having all those webinars and all those like extra like meetings within the program was really nice because I was more informed on the college experience and how to apply to college. And the counselors at Mountain View were very helpful and all the teachers were amazing. So yeah.
Cool. Julia.
Yeah, I attended Los Altos high school, so I would say like the work ethic that we were put in the environment is really helpful. I've gained a lot of time management skills, so I've been able to really like plan exactly what I'm doing and like go from my lectures to homework to studying has really helped. And the teaching staff there was amazing. They were very supportive, so it taught me skills to talk to my professors if I needed help.
Great. Thank you. Taiga.
Yeah, I was also in the Avid program, and one big thing that really helped me was like financial aid and planning and access to scholarship. I think that was really big for me. I think one thing that I wasn't really prepared for was selecting the classes. Like once I got into college and then looked at the class curriculum, I really didn't have a great understanding of it, and then I had to take some time and effort into like thinking of like which classes to take. So maybe once you do select the college, you might want to look into the curriculums they have.
Super helpful. Kai.
Yeah. I also found like LA just really prepared me well. And I think a lot of that comes just from like the academic rigor and like how well a lot of these courses are taught. Especially like when you go to senior year, like I felt those really helped with the study skills, but also just the problem solving skills that you can apply in every class. So yeah, I think like the academic level was very helpful.
Great. And Vina.
I also feel amazingly well prepared by MVHS. I feel like all my teachers were amazing. Academically, I feel like there were so many opportunities for classes. I got to take like linear algebra in high school because like a college professor would come and teach us, and I learned so much, and that really helped me for my major and for CS. One thing I felt a little less prepared for was like how fast-paced colleges are and like the big class sizes. I know Berkeley has a semester system, but a lot of my friends had to adjust to the quarter system, which is very, very fast-paced. And also, unlike high school, I feel like in high school, professors just kind of get to know you over time. In college, you have to really go seek them out and have discussions with them in office hours. And like it's the same with friends. You have to like meet people that you haven't, like in high school, you know everyone kind of from elementary school, but in college, you have to kind of go up to a random person and start a conversation. So I've had to be like take a lot more initiative.
That's great. Okay, cool. Thank you. So we'd love to, I'm sure the audience would love to hear more about your college experience so far. Have you connected with professors? Have you joined a club? Have you discovered a new hobby, et cetera? So Vindu, do you want to, or Sindhu, do you want to start?
Yeah, of course. So I chose USF due to its small size. So it was really easy for me to connect with all my professors. Like on the first day, they gave us their emails, like phone numbers even. So it was really nice education-wise. And then I chose to join like a bunch of clubs like for pre-med and women in society. So I made a lot of friends through that. And also I made a lot of friends like on my dorm floor. And most of them are in my major, or most of them like I have classes with. So it's been really nice. And I've honestly loved the first and second semester.
Awesome. Taiga.
Yeah, I personally am like an introverted person, so it's really like hard for me to go out and get some make new friends, but definitely like the dorm I made like the friends I made through the dorm were really nice, and they are still my friends right now. And I was able to make a lot of friends in like my classes as well. So if you are stressing a lot about like meeting new people, meeting the professors and all that, don't worry, it's everyone's first time as well, and everyone is also nervous. And it's really not that bad to like make new friends. So I think that's something that people shouldn't worry as much.
All right, Vina.
So far I've been really enjoying all of the classes I've been taking for my major. And especially in my first semester, I took the intro computer science class and I loved it. So this semester, I'm part of course staff for that class. So I get to help teach and run the course for students. And that's been a really fun experience. And I've made a lot of friends on staff and gotten to know the professor better. Last week, we all went kayaking, which was really fun. And I also love how in college I can take classes purely for fun. So last semester, I took this really interesting class in sociology about the intersection between economics and feminism. And also this astronomy class where we all got to like go up to the top of tall buildings and look at nebulas and stars from telescopes. So I've been having a really fun time.
Sounds great. Kai.
Yeah, I've been having a great time. You know, I also agree with what a lot of other people are saying. I don't think you should be too nervous about like making friends, especially because like you're forced to live with everyone. Um, and so I think that's something that comes very naturally, and I don't think you have to worry about too much. As for professors, I've been able to like develop great relationships with professors. I'm working in someone's lab already, and so that's been awesome. And I also want to say like being able to take classes, kind of jumping off of Vina, like that's also been a great experience. I'm interested in religion, and like that was something that I never thought would be like an academic thing that I could actually like explore academically. But there was this one professor that I don't know, he had like the craziest lectures, and I feel like my mind expanded like tenfold during his lectures. So um, I really thought that was cool.
Very cool. All right, Lucy.
Yeah, so I've been checking out some both academic and hobby clubs. So I've kept up with like badminton club, running club. And what I found really fun is that you get to meet peers from like all years. Like I've gotten to make friends who are graduate students, and it's really funny if when I like I'm taking an exam for my physics class and I find that one of them is my TA, and I'm just like, what? So yeah, that's pretty new and exciting. And also I have picked up a new hobby, breakdancing. And again, like there are people from all years there, and even people from outside the school who come in and who you can like learn a lot from. And I think in the first few weeks of beginning school, everyone's kind of looking to find like who they click with. So everyone just like walks around in large groups, checks out like club and social meetings together. So yeah, really no need to worry about meeting new people because you'll definitely like find who clicks with you. And finally, I think also dining halls are a good way to meet people. Also about professors, I've just been going to their office hours every single week, and by the end, I feel like we can like have a conversation pretty well, and like they know who I am, what I'm doing in their class, and I also get to like seek extra help for them. So I feel like that's a pretty good thing to do to go to office hours.
Thank you. All right, James.
All right, so I mean, in terms of friends, like, yeah, I mean, all of you guys are there. All you guys are new, you know, all you guys are trying to meet more people. So I mean, that's definitely not anything to worry about. I know for professors, I would say for every single one of my professors, I try to build some sort of relationship with them, you know, whether they'll help you get an internship or maybe, you know, they'll round your grade up at the end of the semester or something like that. Like they're super helpful. A lot of them are, you know, there to help you. A lot of these, well, at least a lot of my professors, teaching is kind of like their passion project. You know, they've had their industry experience, they've had their own business and all that. So, you know, definitely, you know, they're a great help. And, you know, going to office hours also is amazing. You receive a lot of that. And I know specifically at Northeastern, you know, your professors can be kind of like career coaches, especially we have the co-op program, which for those of you guys who don't know, you do 1 or 2 6-month internships while you're here. So like they've definitely have tried to, you know, set me on a path that I want to be on. And I mean, I've loved my experience here so far.
Thank you. And Julia.
Yeah, also coming from a really bad introvert, I think with the added thing of going abroad for college, it was also that really scary, like, oh, I'm like going to a whole new country like that. Like, I don't know anyone in Canada, so that was another like added weight to it. But I think it was one of the best decisions I made. Again, a lot of people at UBC are very, like 30% of our student body is international students. So you get to meet a lot of people from around the world. And as everyone said, really everyone's trying to look for a new friend, no matter what. So I found like we have a week-long like getting to know everyone for first years here. So that was really helpful. And my closest friends have come from that. And I would say also to here, like there's a lot of like different nationalities and languages spoken here. So I found that I have like a whole friend group that we all met just because we all spoke Spanish. And we all just like randomly came up to each other and were like, oh my God, you speak Spanish. Like we should be friends. So that's been really great to find here. And I would say professors, yeah, I've been going to office hours, building relationships with that. It's been really helpful. A lot of them are really open, especially here. Like I've gone on a couple walks where we've gone to get lunch with each other here. It's just really reaching out and like learning through that. I'd also say like new hobbies too. I've joined the Latino Student Union at UBC here too. So again, as everyone said, like meeting upperclassmen and I'm part of like the exec team for our Pilates club here too. So that's been really fun, getting to know people through that.
That's so great. Okay, Julie, I'm going to put you on the spot and have you answer the next one, but we're transitioning into the Q&A, but just maybe a round robin, something that surprised you your first year of college. Like, I did not expect this. It's a surprise, something surprising.
I would say how much, like people tell you how much work it is, but I didn't expect for like the first like semester to be like every single hour. Basically, it was just like me doing like my homework and stuff. That was really surprising. So really trying to time manage that and like, oh, I should probably come out of my shell and like talk to people and like go grab some things. So I think just like learning to time manage that was more surprising to learn that there was a really need for that to do schoolwork, but then also to take a break.
Nice. Taiga.
Yeah, I think what surprised me a lot was the size of my classes. I'm computer science and it's a very popular major. So all my classes maybe consisted of more than like 200 people, especially the lower division classes, and it might be overwhelming and it might feel like a lot of competition. But I think if you go to the office hours and talking to your professors and creating study group with friends in that class, I think you'll be just fine in that class.
Nice. All right, Kai.
Trying to think. Maybe this is not a really fun one, but I'm out of state, so going back for like spring break and winter break back home, I didn't expect it to be such a grueling process. Like it's like a whole day of travel. So not as fun, but that is one thing that I didn't expect going in.
That's really helpful. James.
The most surprising thing for me was definitely, especially my first semester, is how much free time I had. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday last semester, I was done at 10:30. And so, learning how to navigate all that free time, knowing what to do with your time, allocating certain time for study, certain time for breaks, or, to go work out or whatever is, it takes a while to find your rhythm, you gotta, do your laundry, you gotta cook sometimes. So, just it's finding your rhythm was a little hard, but I found it in the end.
Nice. Okay, Lucy.
Yeah, there was a couple of things I was thinking about. One is that so I was looking into applying to programs. So I emailed my professors and for example, my math professor, kind of like what Tyga was saying, like it was a huge class. So I didn't really expect my professor to be like able to help me, but he actually like wrote something which I thought was really kind considering he had like 800 students. Another thing that surprised me was how many opportunities there are to volunteer like outside the campus. For example, my friend who's also in the pre-bio program, she volunteers at like a marine science institute in our downtown and also at our hospital. Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of.
Great. Sindhu.
Something that really surprised me this past semester was time management. Like I thought I had time management down really well in high school, but once I started all my classes and I started all my labs, it was really hard to find personal time and time to just study and then just having time to relax and everything. So even if you got time management down in college, it's something different because you also have to do laundry, your own chores and everything. So honestly, learning how to organize and time manage is really important.
Thank you. And Vina.
I think one thing that was surprising but also really inspiring was the amount of diversity around me. Like I would walk to class and hear 10 different languages being spoken at the same time. And I thought that was really cool because I got to meet so many people from every other state, from a bunch of other countries. And I made a lot of friends who don't have the same background as me, and that's been really exciting.
Love that. Okay, cool. All right, so we just have a minute or two left. Does anyone have anything that you just really want to share in service of the people in attendance about, something to look forward to in college, or something that you just are like, this is something I didn't know, but I wish I would have, or just anything like that? Anyone have anything kind of pressing that they want to share?
I can say the office hours are worth it. Like you think that the professors might if you're scared or anything, they honestly love helping you, and office hours really help with increasing your test grades and everything. So go to office hours.
Yeah, I feel like college is a great opportunity for you to find new hobbies and new things you like. So really getting out of your comfort zone is really important. And I was able to find a lot of hobbies like rock climbing and bouldering. So that was never what I expected when I was going into college. So I think just trying out new things is really, it's going to be really fun.
All right, last chance if anyone wants to jump in. All right, well, with that, I just want to, from the bottom of our heart, thank you all panelists for being amazing representatives of MVLA out in the world, for taking time out to share your insights with all of us. You're inspirational and we appreciate you. And with that, we will conclude our webinar for the evening. Thank you everyone that came to the session, and we wish everyone a good night. So thank you. Bye, everybody.